Fans of the How to Train Your Dragon animated movies and the new live-action remake may not know this, but Hiccup and Snotlout are actually related in the original book series. Even though some fans deemed it unnecessary, reviews for the live-action How to Train Your Dragon remake have been great, with Screen Rant's own Sarah Moran giving it a score of 8 out of 10. Additionally, the remake has been a major box office success, making $359 million worldwide as of this writing. Even before the release of the first live-action remake, it was announced that a sequel to How to Train Your Dragon has been greenlit. Therefore, the stories of Hiccup and Snotlout will be continued in live action, which is great since both Mason Thames and Gabriel Howell are perfect choices for the roles. Even though Hiccup and Snotlout work together at the end of How to Train Your Dragon, therefore, it may be surprising to some to learn that Hiccup and Snotlout are actually cousins in the How to Train Your Dragon book series. In the How to Train Your Dragon books, the first of which was published in 2003, Hiccup and Snotlout's fathers are actually brothers. While Hiccup's father is still stoic in the books, Snotlout's dad is actually different. Interestingly, Snotlout's father is named Baggybum in the book series, not Spitelout like he is in the animated movies and the new live-action remake. Since Stoic and Baggybum are brothers in the How to Train Your Dragon books, this makes Hiccup and Snotlout cousins, which adds another layer to their relationship. In the book series, both Baggybum and Snotlout are constantly trying to prove that they are better Vikings than Stoic and Hiccup, since they are next in line to rule over Berk. However, it seems that the animated movies and the live-action remake, since the animated films and the new remake never outright claim that Stoic and Spitelout are brothers, it is safe to assume that Hiccup and Snotlout are not cousins in the movie franchise. Instead, Spitelout is simply one of Berk's best warriors in the animated movies and the live-action film. However, despite this, fans have come up with explanations for how Stoic and Spitelout could still be related in the How to Train Your Dragon movies. Several fans have tried to argue that Stoic and Spitelout could potentially be half-brothers or brothers-in-law in the movies. This would explain them having different last names. None of these theories are ever confirmed in the films, but fans of the book still like to believe that Stoic and Spitelout could be related in some way. These theories could also help explain why Hiccup easily forgives Snotlout in the first animated movie and the live-action adaptation, even though the latter is often quite mean to him. In the original animated movie and the new live-action remake, both Hiccup and Snotlout want to prove themselves. However, the live-action How to Train Your Dragon film makes a major change to Snotlout's character by complicating his relationship with his father. In the new movie, Snotlout constantly seeks his father's approval, which is exactly what Hiccup wants. Therefore, the live-action remake goes out of its way to draw parallels between Hiccup and Snotlout. Since Hiccup and Snotlout are actually quite similar characters, them potentially being related makes sense. However, since Hiccup and Snotlout being cousins was never established in the animated trilogy, it would be surprising if any of the live-action How to Train Your Dragon movies make them related. Regardless, it is still interesting to draw new comparisons between Hiccup and Snotlout now that the first live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie has been released.